They have
We're on. And when it says green up here, it's on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Who do I check in with? Yes, I
I saw you on
Perfect.
You want to start?
Yes, sir. If you don't mind me asking.
Dano, you're so sweet.
Thanks. You know, don't start talking to me like that. I'll get all teary.
All right, settle down there, settle down. Hello, baby. Yeah.
Rabbit dog up there or what? Someone has
Yes,
gas.
there's an or what. There's an or what. Sacred's intro checklist. Sacred's intro checklist. Poetry. Hey!
Come on.
Oh!
Hello, back there.
It's the Natch.
Loosen up.
It's the Natch.
They're ignoring the rabbit dog.
Maureen.
Poetry of all kinds, ladies and gents, is welcome, but we ask you to respect the mic. Keep conversations to a whisper. Put phones on mute or vibrate, and spin around the room. And do not distract the speakers, the amplifiers, the bass guitar, the piano player, or the conga. Do not pass in front of them.
Or the
Do not
bassoon.
fly over them, and certainly do not transmute through them. Also, keep to the time limit, usually 5 minutes, sometimes that's an eternity. But nowadays, 4 is better, 3 is cute, and 2 is okay. And if you have a haiku, good for you. And if you have less than 1 minute, my God, what are you doing here? 7-ish and the 8:40-ish are 2 shows. We have two shows, and we have a lot of babbling going on. Folks, please.
Whisper.
Please.
Whisper.
Attention, please. Thank you. By going short on time helps get everyone on the mic. So Sac's Sacred. So that's Sac Red. Sacred's longest standing tradition. If you want to be in the loop or hula hoop, we have an opt-in email list. See one of the hosts, and if you see him, don't throw things at him. A Facebook page, and we stream live thanks to Mr. Natural, who's here right now. Yeah, baby. See the URL. See the USA. See California on the wall. See it there. There it is. URL. You are here. You can view it from home, family or friends, live later on. You want to hear so-and-so's poem again? Why, you can want to do a self-critique? Hell no, you don't. If you really want to, go ahead, and it's a way to put the word out. Yours, mine, ours, and everybody here. Come on in, Sharon.
Hello, Sharon.
We're sharing. We're sharing with you. If you're sharing, we're sharing.
Sharon Strack.
Ongoing theme. Never doubt that a small group of committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has, said Margaret Mead. The evening's theme is slip. I threw that one out. So slip. You know, Slip Wilson. You remember? No, that's something else. Sorry.
I like that.
Also, next week's feature will be.
Next week's feature will be God. No.
God will be next week's feature, groveling on the floor. Probably coming in with Mr. Natural at an early date, so get here early.
Let me be serious. It's the Ashbury Literary Arts Journal. They will be here next week.
A book will be the feature next.
A magazine.
A magazine, I'm sorry.
Publication.
A publication.
Yes, and the author's in it.
And the author is in it, folded between pages 13 and 17. Also, the keynote is...
Keynote is Alex. Where's Alex?
Alex, stand up, Alex. Wave to the fans. Thank you. And our feature is
Sage Curtis, who is right here. Give her
give it the Queen's Wave. That's the second show. The last word will be the Curse Writer. Cursing you out in many languages. The mini feature is.
We have a special
Special.
circumstance tonight. We have Robin Rubino, who was the door prize winner from last week. And we have Bethany and Carla, who are also doing a similar thing, and they have travelers, and they are here, and they're going to go like this.
And they're from Washington. They came all the way down just for this.
Traveling poets. So they're going to do a mini as well. So
We have fabulous door prizes,
Fabulous door
panels,
prizes. My wish for a better
mats,
world. That's one of
entry
the door prizes.
mats.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
I thought you were telling me to do the door prizes.
We're doing this together. You know.
I forget.
I'm just talking over you. It's an obnoxious habit that I have. I'm
You
sorry.
know, what do I get?
You get me. Well, more than you bargained for. Be advised, although we record the evening, if an audience member wishes to step outside and run into traffic, please don't tell us in advance. No, don't do so. Please ask permission. No. We'll assume you've done so. No, we don't assume that. So none of the above is the correct answer. Thank you. We conclude by 9:50. This is Teddy's deadline when we take to the street and run each other over. So short read, bold italic items only. Sorry. Long read. Read it all.
The door prizes. Can I
Door prizes. Wait a minute. Wait just a minute. We have door prizes. Step right up. $0.1.
Okay.
A big little book?
German, English, German
So
grammar
German
dictionary.
English
It's great.
dictionary.
It was given to me, and I tried to use it because I wanted to, and I didn't, so I'm giving it away. Richard Burton's Equus. A pair of fine earrings
Ooh.
by Mitch.
By
Our
Mitch.
famed individual of note, merit, kindness, and consideration. Carve, honest fiction, we hope. I Get a Kick, Cole Porter songs by Lisa B. Best of the Big Bands. Flatfoot Flugie is not on here.
Yeah, and Fletcher Henderson is not on there. I want to complain about
Jesus.
that.
And then Frank Russell Influences, a tribute to bass guitar and jazz. Then the Eagles, Fine Thing, no, not Eric. Eric Alexander.
He's
Summit
good. He
Meeting,
good. He good.
Saxophone. And then the door prizes, which is choosing next week's theme or prompt.
I got
Being
7
a
of
mini
those.
feature if you're going to come back next week.
Yeah.
Being the co-pilot if you're going to come back.
These are
being
these
the
two.
other co-pilot if you're going to come back.
That's the other one.
And the last word means you introduce and kick out the second half, and in the keynote, the person who speaks first for someone else, and then comes back to the open mic. Did I do it?
You're beautiful. Okay,
My wife says that all the time. Thank God, though.
what does she know?
What does she know? I know.
She knows you.
That's bad enough. All right.
That's a good thing. Alex D!
Alex D, give her a round. Come on, people. I know you get this thing started.
Alex D.
Get really close on
Hit
it
it.
because it doesn't do this thing.
Moon Suite by Jim Harrison. The full moon is rising from her nest high in the Abersoka Mountains. A miraculous cliche shining down, glistening on 1,000 acres of hay. The new moon, how I loved it, over the still lake in childhood. It meant a fresh start whirring from the sky with the night jars, bull bats and 10,000 swallows, eating the mosquitoes you were breathing. Seeing the moon, the loon begin to call, and a few stars seemed to hiss. When we were young on the lake at night, it was alive. Bobcat yowl, buck deer snort, 1,000 irritable birds, the hum of the night, herself holding her weight of the stars and moon. Dawn only came when the night was exhausted. Brothers said the moon was a mushroom, feeding on the light until it got white and fat. Astronomers say this is true. The moon was sitting on a hill behind the house, so I walked right into it, cold and soft, and not bright white, as you might think, more cream-colored, with a warm wind. I thought I might see John Keats. The big moon rose through the forest fire across the river. I had a primitive fear she was aflame. An older man was caught camping up there. He had to hike out with his old dog Brownie, across the divide, ahead the chasing fire. They made it in burning moonlight. Walking in Jerusalem, just like John, but farther east in the desert. The moonlight you could see mating vipers. They were everywhere in old Bible pictures, at the feet of saints, but did not strike them. In the far east, we were worried about immense tigers eating the moon, its pieces falling from their jaws. You can't rearrange the heavens to suit yourself. Even the gods are powerless with sun, moon, and planets. Wildflowers listen carefully to the gods and also to sea lions. Perhaps the gods want us to be wildflowers, surprises on earth, these wildflowers. We can't seem to change anything anywhere. The stars have been getting too large lately, big white loose splotches in liquid sky. I can handle this jigsaw puzzle of the universe. I'll need 1,000 dog teams and very large ropes. There'll be no seating for an audience. They must stand in the nation's backyards. Earth will be at peace again through dog power. The International Dog Church will be founded. The moon will be called Holy Dog Moon. The sun called Sun Dog. The gods are now called dogs and are much happier. Marching is permanently banished in favor of trotting. The bear broke free from his constellation and loped through the cosmos, thinking he scented a female in a distant world. Our difficult selves are cast in iron. Only the most extreme heat makes us malleable. All my life I've been a night bird, thousands of evenings looking at thousands of acres of black windows. What's out there? Everything from murderers to ghosts and gods who are safe from us in the dark. The gully is full of big green willow bushes, waiting patiently for tidy migrant warblers due in a few weeks. The stars don't know who we are. The slim new moon rising strains to capture Venus in her curve. Sometimes I'm inside and outside at the same time. Blackness is a friend concealing my disfigurement from private wars. Last night, the big moon carved me up with her invisible white knives. In the dark, I chanted and flopped. Where is my straitjacket when I need it? I held on to the willow so not to be taken up in the air. I can't leave Earth tonight, I pleaded. We're always saying not yet to the gods, who are irritable when they can't kill us. The new moon with Venus nearby, though not in the moon cup as I'd prefer her. So hard to organize these things. Yahweh is the God of galaxies, while the moon rules freely to help the oceans and to haunt us with our life before birth in a different kingdom far away. We swarm at night under the moon's reflection and tried to catch her. She slipped through our fingers. The moon stares at me impolitely through the fir trees and the willows and the window. She's like that, staring back. You can trip in the yard. The full moon caught herself in contorted rose vines beyond the window. The rose is called Madame Alfred Carrière, bred for climbing castle walls. We only have a little casita, a gatehouse. The huge rose is just here, the same for peasants. I am not strong enough to disentangle the moon. No one is. We were frightened last October when a big wind from the north scudded the moon back south where it was prayed for, needed by Dia de Muertos. What fun to dance, get drunk in a cemetery. An immense angel died, fell drape over the mountains, imagining snow. We missed the full moon. Once I heard wolves in the full moonlight. The huge storm visited the cabin. Also great green northern lights. The sky split open in the west, and beyond the storm, the wolves were howling within the thunder. The earth was forcing me not to forget her. I never recovered from that night. This all would never happen again. The last moon will be black in the red sky. The last girl will weigh 2 sparrow feathers. At my age, you don't think about the future because you don't have one. Up close, the moon fills the world.
Bit Peter.
Oops.
I got it. And I'll make sure that's
This
on.
is delicate.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me make sure.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Make sure this is locked in place. Okay.
Another leaflet. Turn the TV off. A weekend spent praising assassination.
Yeah.
The man in the long red tie taking a special ghoulish delight in it. His pulp magazine embellishments. Drone wars are not vivid enough. Kids in cages are not enough to satisfy sadistic intent. Turn the TV off, jump the context, or listen more closely. The CIA are meddling spies and spooks, not heroes and liberators. The FBI are still gumshoes. Dana and Scully led us astray, posing as intelligent agents. Do we all have to share in the madness? Do we need these just any heroes? Do we need to listen to fog merchants who chortled over assassination?
Ah. I'm gonna move this down.
Okay. This is for Owen Dunkel, whose line I think I stole. To hear, just a slip of a boy with big ears. Listen then to the elders, the great uncles, aunts, and grandmother. One of them had a peg leg. Others had crossed the plains in a wagon. Oh, the great hunter and his exploits around Hat Creek and in the high country. And sound from the radio, daily reports of war. Soon hearing Mrs. Bell, the matron of a one-room school, butcher paper easel, Dick and Jane went up a hill, a cacophony of wisdom and garbage. And the first fiddle teacher, 9 feet tall, in a pinstripe suit, sang, "One more time." And the chorus at home, "Don't touch." Slip, and that's the theme tonight. A memory flash, locked into the eroticism of young women in slips, hot nights and moments of truth. Mickey Spillane and Tennessee Williams. I, the jury, and a cat on a hot tin roof. Or the actuality of my young pregnant aunt ironing in the old kitchen, West Texas house, 1948. One last one on the theme. Slipping and sliding, bottling home brew in Mary's kitchen. The large crock has done its work. Our impatience, the fumes, watching the fermentation process, seeming to take years as we continued to drink brown derby mixed with Guinness. Bottled home brew in Mary's kitchen, slipping and sliding in it, the residue on the floor, get those caps on, some of it went in. Fuck the complete frame poem, these fragments, the laughter and more laughter as we heard the explosions ringing from that grand box under the sink. The bottled treasures, whammo, kerbang, just 7 cents a bottle, hardy har, whammo again, and headaches you wouldn't believe.
I'm gonna set the mic here for a second here. Oh, yeah, let me just put the other leg up. Yeah, but I'm gonna put this thing up, hold on.
Briar is
You're tangled down here.
microphone cord.
Yeah, let me just,
Mechanicals, reach out.
hold on a
So-
second. There we go. I'm gonna put this down here so we don't have that problem.
All right.
Okay, this is good.
I wanna
No
make sure that,
feedback, Rob, that's good.
well, me,
Well,
okay,
you
just watch
spoke
the,
on that, then you adjust it.
yeah. Try to make sure it's good.
Toward the theme.
Towards the thing?
Yes, but or actually satisfying it insofar as I can. I must say what I recently said, and that is "The Princess Once Again" by Tennyson. How's that? Is it loud?
A little bit, just a hair up there. Just
All right, try now.
A wild hair up there.
There you go.
Okay, are we ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you.
Now sleeps the crimson petal, now the white, nor waves the cypress in the palace walk, nor winks the gold fin in the porphyry font. The firefly wakens, waken thou with me. Now droops the milk-white peacock like a ghost, and like a ghost she glimmers unto me. Now lies the earth all Danae to the stars, and all thy heart lies open unto me. Now slides the silent meteor on, and leaves a shining furrow as thy thoughts in me. Now folds the lily all her sweetness up, and slips into the bosom of the lake. So fold thyself, my dearest, thou, and slip into my bosom, and be lost in me. And I'm going to do another short one by William Blake. A poison tree. I was angry with my friend. I told my wrath did end. I was angry with my foe. I told it not. My wrath did grow. And I watered it with fears, night and morning with my tears. And I sunned it with smiles, and with false, deceitful wiles. And it grew, both day and night, till it bore an apple bright. And for my foe beheld it shine, and he knew that it was mine, and into my garden stole, when the night had veiled the pole. In the morning, glad I see my foe outstretched beneath the tree.
Thank you, Ham Robert.
Maximilian?
And after him is Edward Montague.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Maximilian Volkert. I'm the most an enemy from the Presidio. I'm going for them, and I'm spreading out here and making a draft to you folks to see what's happening, to see how we can collaborate. For the last 3-4 years, I have struggling with the Presidio, abusing Presidio government trust, abusing pesticides, abusing Roundup, just too much. And I call them on the carpet. I put them in front of me, say, hey, this is criminal act. And I have the solution for it. So I'm making a draft, and I have plan A and plan B. So plan A is to transform the Presidio in the green Presidio. 100% organic. For all the mistakes, for all the abuses they have done, not only Presidio, but the government, putting Monsanto in a bucket. Yeah, our food is all corrupt. Yeah, so and we all collude, going to restaurants and eat, and yeah, we all collude. Yeah? But we are not healthier. The cancer, etc., are pleased, are happy to have this happening because it is unhealthy what we are eating. So organic is the only solution. So I want to put Presidio come a role model to give all the restaurants in the Presidio 100% organic. The parties they have on Sundays, and there are 30, 40 trucks, food deliveries, none one is organic today. Organic. We have a Starbucks therein. Out of it, organic. If it's organic, is welcome back. So the transformation in the procedure is needed. I'm an expert in farming techniques, in organic farming, in urban farming, and I have a proposal to do to the procedure, to all of us, is to build up a museum next to the organic stuff, a museum, not Mickey Mouse Museum, a museum in Fort Scott, all the quarters that I have there, 4 or 5 empty, for 10, 15 years their barracks empty, to fill them up and make an organic museum. New techniques, everything that to go on with healthy food, etc., etc. The chain is big, but to make a nice museum, an organic museum here in San Francisco, beg your pardon, this would be the maximum. In the middle, next to the baseball field, we have a big tent that they will build up. A tent. I have built acres and acres of greenhouses, and even in '84, I have built up the first solar greenhouse in Spain. So I have a little bit of experience in greenhouses and in modern farming. I'm a farmer specialist. Future farming, vertical growing farming, etc. But this tent that we can have in the procedure is about 200 feet diameter, is like a circus tent with one pole in the middle, 40, 50 feet tall, and 6 cables with big tension. So a very inexpensive product. 10 years guarantee, see-through totally, 150 miles guaranteed for storms. And inside the tent, many applications possible. Living, farming, storage, just name it. Everything combined. It's like a new way, and solar. The whole thing is solar. And for peanuts, look, we have all those burning things, you know. Why? This is our Lord calling, hey people, wake up, go solar.
We gotta go here.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
My blessing.
All right.
Edward. And after Edward is Owen.
Edward Mike Hugh, the honorable, honored, honoring, and honorific. Honestly. Just get close like you don't.
This is a verse for the painter artist Richard Steger. It's called "For Painters Using All the Colors in Their Paint Boxes." Your eyes are blue, hands are too, feet are green, toes are sparrows, and in between them in the narrows are tiny fairies. Ears all lavender, nose a twitching, mouth is smiling, chin a tilting up to the bright sky. You breathe and sigh, give out a cheer, and then give another. Every sister, every brother, here, master painter's ears, we hear your stunning smile. For Richard Steger, painter. He has a small show of colored drawings on Clement Street, on 9th and Clement. What, good show? Yeah.
That's really, I love the way he can do beauty, as you said.
Thanks. Okay. Now, this is less fun, I suppose, because it doesn't rhyme. There you go. Looking for who I was and at our beliefs. I'm glad we did what we did and as we did. Nothing can take that we had and did and how we felt then, nor can change what we did and who we were then. Remember the song, I Believe? every drop of rain that falls. We followed our hearts and our minds, and what I still believe to have been our souls, and that carries certainty and our history for me. That I still honor and believe, and most of our youth otherwise honored. My great-grandmother Jane Kennedy Delahan from Northwest Pennsylvania intoned the first decade of my life, backward, oh, time and thy flight make me a child again, just for tonight. I go back in memory now, as I turn the page. I go back in memory now and honor so much in my past and in the past of my time. We were honorable people then, by and large. Grammy always used to say, you don't get it off the grass, along with her warning not to follow the crows, suggesting likewise geese would walk over our graves. She was born in the 1860s, maybe a little sooner, and died at 84 when I was 10. I am now 82. The ethos of her time, that time of the Pennsylvania Dutch and the Quakers and those Methodists, stained my ethics with a moral vision. I'd say that my youth and of those who shared the times of my young manhood as I entered the Peace Corps in 1961 also generally shared my and our beliefs. Those were our times, but not the times we hear about on the TV or the Twitter. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Antoinette Payne. Set this clock here.
And then Doodle Man.
And then Dudeman after her, okay.
That's good, thank you. That's good. Yeah, I think that's good.
Here we are.
Yeah, I have a couple that I'm working on this week. I'm going to reread the haiku I did last week because I changed it. So I'll read it slow. It's October wind picks dry leaves up, out and about. God's whisper blows through. My one self undivided, yet coupled to another, rat race nails us here from start to finish. Once widowed, solo and lonely, exquisitely independent, didn't last long enough. Read the small print, being bonded, societal expectation. Our lives linked, nourishment, he says, woman as good as you deserves a man as good as me. Intellectually flexible, supple, carefully witnessed each. Respectful in desire, other. Commitment, unadulterated. Obliged to only us, especially with love entrusted, matters of the heart.
All right. Thank you. Antoinette Payne, ladies and gentlemen. Voice.
And then Tommy.
The Monskis. Tomaroonie. Tommy. What?
Come, let us go to the graveyard in time. What you brought me out here for? You know I'm scared. What? Take him up. Look, there's no meat on his bone. We call forth the great dump truck. Dump truck man with Donald Duck at the wheel. There he come. Hey, you're not gonna bite me, are you? Are you? You gonna be nice? Be nice. Be nice, man. Easy there, baby. Easy. 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 What'd you say? What'd you say, dump truck? Oh, dump truck. I can't understand a word what you say. But your Donald Duck is at the wheel? What? Are you that way? What, man? What? Why you have one eye? One eye blue and one eye red. What they gonna do with you? They gonna what? They gonna lock you up. No, dump truck. They what? You tell them, look, what? She hides the information? What? You can't trust a word what she's saying. But you dump truck. They want you to. No, I'm not gonna. What? You got to dump truck. Yo, what? Bunch of rats like you? I don't bite people. Look at that sucker. Dump truck. Dump truck, old dump truck. I cannot believe it. And what? We can't understand a word what you're saying. What? Can I? Donald Duck? Is that the wheel? Oh, dump truck. I could not believe it. Dump truck. Why? You can't, why you have one eye red and one eye what? And not only that, you go in the dark too? You tell me, what? Oh, dump truck. Dump truck. I can't believe it. They don't like you, dump truck. Why? You said that she hide things. And you said, what? Even the Congress and the Congress is after you too now? And the Senate too? Dump truck, I cannot believe a word what you say. You won't bite me, a dump truck. You don't trust, you can't trust. Wait, but how do I get my information, dump truck? By the news and by Tell Her Vision. Didn't you say Hillary and Clinton hide? You can't believe a word what she say? And she won't reveal it, but why won't you reveal it, dump truck, to us? Tell me, dump truck, this whipped in my ear. What? Dump truck. Nah, you're not that way. Darn, man, you kind of scare me, dump truck. That dump truck, man. Well, anyway, dump truck. Think we should put you back behind bars again? Okay, I'll put you behind bars. Oh, dump truck, man. You can't believe a word what dump truck say. So, dump truck, I cannot believe it. Man, dump truck, man. Dump truck, don't you think? Why you talk so bad about Hillary? What's her name? Hillary Rodham and Clinton. They told me, what? Run for, what? Nah, she'd be better off as vice presidente. Yeah, but you know what, dump truck, you need a one like you, huh? You talked about that Joseph, what his name? Joseph Biden? Is it Biden? Biden. Oh, dump truck. You think so? And what about what? Ah, I can't believe it. A word with dump truck said. Hey, look at that. Dump truck, man. But anyway, dump truck, what we gonna do? We're gonna bury you. We're gonna bury you, dump truck. We're gonna bury you, man. Bury you. All right, close the gate. Close the gate. Close it. Close it. Put the dirt on them. Pop, pop, pop. Dump truck. Thank you, dump truck.
Come on, Steve. And now the lovely and charming Tommy Avicolameco, who before your very eyes standing there. Give a round of applause because he deserves that.
Yeah.
He deserves many other things, but we'll talk about that later.
Okay. Two park rangers tell him to move on. The homeless man with his dogs, a wheelchair, and some possessions sitting quietly on the grass, while people nearby spread blankets, have baby carriages, food, drinks, loud music. The homeless man looks around, hesitates, then packs up his things slowly. He knows that public space is only for some. And now to take you back to my teenage years and Halloween night. And this goes to the theme. And it's a true story. Oh, and by the way, there's one Italian word in it, and I think you probably all know it. Putana. You all know putana? It's like puta in Spanish. Putana. Puta, yeah. Same word, different language. I slipped my skinny teenage body into my sister's dress. Skin tight fit. It hung a couple inches above the knee, which used to get my sister in trouble in Catholic school. I slid foundation on my freshly shaved face. Eyeliner, mascara, red lipstick, no slip. I figured no one in the neighborhood would bother me. It was Halloween. Still, Papa shook his head disapprovingly. Mama laughed. "You look like a putana," she said. "It's just a costume," I said. But I knew better, and so did she. For her, that was a preview of things to come, because I spent the next many years living in drag. So. And then I came out of the whole experience being the butch, macho Italian stud that I am. That wasn't funny. Look. Yo.
Come on already.
And finally, I'm going to end with this. If I could, I'd unpave all the streets and sidewalks, take down all the walls, tear down the skyscrapers and office buildings, turn off the lights at night so the Milky Way can paint itself across the sky and we all could see just how small we really are. The houses would be made of wood. The parks would grow wild. There'd be no pesticides, lots of bees, butterflies, and weeds. No GMO, no cars, planes, churches. Dogs would not be on leashes. Cats would roam wherever they wanted. No one would feel superior to anyone else. No oil wells, nuclear plants, all energy from sun and wind. Jails would be eradicated, as would politicians, eating meat, landlords too. There'd be no poverty, no weapons, no war. You probably think I'm crazy, and I am. But how we live these days is killing us, and we keep on doing it. What do you call that?
Oh, David, is it?
It is. It are.
Mr. E.
Oh, I'm next. Christ and hamburger.
Cloaked rider. The cobblestones begin to speak. Horse and carriage scrape and creak. Ichabod has craned his neck. Shadows lurk, and he suspects from equine neighing that he hears, is that fearful horseman near? Jack-o'-lantern has replaced the head with candle-lighted face. Necklace it's suspended there, two triangle flames that stare. From a pumpkin smooth and spare, laughing mouth that doesn't care. Black steed rears, its nostrils smoke. Schoolmarm would scream, instead he chokes. A tumble and he's over the hedge, jumbled, scared, his nerves on edge. He's being chased around the bend. Both are never seen again. Okay, so I got designated. The birth mom took my grandson to Chuck E. Cheese, and he was at my son and the new partner, new mom, who's pregnant. And they gave me the duty of taking the grandson back to Chuck E. Cheese. How does one discern in the age of Chuck E. Cheese? In the 1950s, Isaac Asimov stated the danger succinctly. Rules of robotics. First rule, do not kill humans. This rule has been abrogated. Eye in the sky can track every human on the planet. Drones kill people. The Russians, the Chinese, and US Americans all compete cybernetically to make the best killing machine. This is akin to sawing off the tree limb on which we are all sitting. The inability to transcend nationalism. Erdogan wants nuclear weapons. Meanwhile, We have a spoiled brat in the ultimate seat of power. Einstein, you cannot make both war and peace at the same time. Finger pointing is easy, holstering that ego and envisioning what's good for the commonwealth, that's a little harder, but we all have to do it.
Whoa.
Slight chill. Leaves are falling, wind has stopped, cold has snapped, bring in the crops. Have you gathered seasoned seeds? Bring indoors my roots to feed. Heather, ivy, stalk, and vine. Valentine is etched in rhyme. Frosty Jack, squeeze in the crack. Saving daylight's oval track. Round and round the clock runs down. Perhaps it melts. Then zut alors! Daly, Dolly, Salvador. France meets Spain at Pyrenees. Final harvest. Gather these. Chlorophyll has left the lot. Horn of plenty. Stew the pot. Liquefier deliquesce on, oh, chanterelle, I do confess, fungal secret for us in dreams. Your subtle flavors, soups or creams, dress your spores and sprinkle lightly. Taste buds dancing nightly, sprightly, snuggle in protected den. On my scorecard, you rate, On my scorecard, you rate off 10. Yeah. Curlicue, my writing is a secret counsel, self-contained, and for an ounce, I'll pound your brain or kiss your cheek, rhyme sublime, or silent speak. Chalk the board, spill the quill, thoughts are caught, cranium filled, nimble fingers alphabet, cursive font, the print is set, no grief, serif. For language cold, omega n's result is null. Tarragon, oh thank you, a haiku. So I brought my tarragon inside just in time. Tarragon is rosemary with the evergreen removed. Licorice. Last one. This is, today I was, okay, well it's self-explanatory. Poplar minus ivy equals life. I've always been a sower of seeds, recording the deeds, enhancing the land, helping trees stand, encourage, release, let yield increase, renew or decease, fold into your grease. Suleiman, send me a sign with a seal, pinniped pouting or citrus to peel, unsheathing the nut, discover just what, elks bellow in rut, no if, ands, or but, my shield or my buttress, mesa or table, yearning and learning, ascend the green gable, somber and mirthful, admitting such fun, passing the lifeline to my two grandsons. Thank you.
It's gotta be me. It's
Gotta be you.
Okay, I forgot my glasses. No, I didn't. All right. Quite a spread here. All right, so here we go.
They're all good. Just go ahead.
There are ages which come and go, lands that vanish, seas which move. Time does not speak to us of these creatures. Time does not speak to us at all. It has heard we are deaf. It would signal that it has heard we are blind. It would do a song and dance, go the extra mile, give us the whole 9 yards. But we are not at home anymore on this world, and time knows that. That's why time is going its own way now, leaving us to ours. If we were wise, we'd take heed, ask after it, but we aren't wise, that is, so we won't. And it's not as if we haven't for the longest time seemed to care, not one teeny tiny little bit. And now, well, now time has run out, and it's all on us. Do you hear the fat lady singing? Okay, and thank you. My mom thanks you, my brother thanks you. This is called Young Hands, and it's written about my brother who passed away fairly recently, but anyway. When our hands were young, when Back in the day, they glistened with sand as it passed fingers through. Water arced through play and cloud skies sparkling. Above sand castles built along Jamaica Bay, the beaches and the ocean were just right, the sun not too hot, and we played with all the time in the world. Young hands full of autumn leaves pitched into a pyre or making toys out of common items, imagination transforming cardboard into machineries of joy, blankets into mountain ranges, sticks into wands, dried maple leaves into ferry boats, slippery mud oozing between fingers shaped into circles on cement foundation, pies. When our hands were young, when they were round, soft, known for what they gave best, soft fur purring with sleep, their smoothness over anything, the cool touch of the slip silver top hat or flat iron for rolling dice, shaking on it, crossing hearts, or holding cards close on a long Brooklyn summer night. When our hands were young, they held innocence long, long ago in a place far, far away, in a life, in a world that is no more. Our young hands made shadow shakes, slapped five, clapped in time to the street beat, shot odds and evens, pitched pennies, or crossed hearts to promise hope and love above all. Fingers longed for gooey paint that would fidget for something else to do, reaching out to their brothers, sisters, and friends in a world and a time when our hands were young. Now, these of today are nothing of that, long bereft of precious secrets which I never felt slip through away. I've these appendages which can clench, beat, or remain withheld, closed, while at a coffee table's distance their counterparts remain idle strangers in a distance of years, hands which have forgotten to reach as ours young ones never would have, so neither set reaches. Hands that have pulled hard triggers, signed on to regret, closed into a clutch of animal mind, pointed posthumously at pride, fondled its temporal relics, a stone marker or a dim, faded medal of honor, long left out of hand, yet which still draws us into our own soft aching with time. So these are mine, these things which are not as free as when our hands were young, when they were fine, a source of wonder, as all young hands are, making many a magic marvel. I remember when our hands were young, way back when love was as simple as any touch made it. Thank you. And this final little piece here is mystical. Businesslike, misery on his face. The doctor drops the sheet over, closes his case, walks out, the door closes. You still don't understand why he did not hear you, why your hand passed right through. And what is wrong is turning around and staring down at your own face. Thank you.
That was for Halloween. Everyone then, a wonderful mind is coming forward.
Yeah, I'm a little shorter than you.
Yeah, that's all right.
Not much.
I know, but we got to make sure you're comfortable. Your comfort is our comfort.
Oh, thank you.
And my comfort is your comfort's mine.
I'm still working on this little book that has all these prompts in it. So,
All right.
this one is top 10 times, and this is 4 of the top 10 in my family anyway. This is called Otis Buford. Grandfather Boo Boo, honest and caring. That's the first one. Second one, Mother Jean, also honest, which she learned from her father, Otis Buford. Father Earl, stringently honest. That's why I have trouble hiding anything. And then this one is intelligent goodness from maternal grandmother, Ima Melissa. She never wavered. So that's why I'm not very sophisticated. Plus, coming from Alabama also helps.
Mark of the course.
If anybody hears this, they're not listening. That's good. Too honest. That's the main thing. Okay, here is a prompt. What role did books play in your childhood? And I answered it weirdly, as I usually do. This is called Mostly I Played Baseball, but I was a very good student and worked hard in school, was voted, quote, most studious, unquote, in the 9th grade. In the 8th grade, I would stay up very late, sometimes 2 a.m. studying. My older brother and sister were honor students, so they kind of, quote, paved the way for me. I slowed down the studying a bit in high school, but I still worked hard. This one is right about a time when you were given responsibility as a child. Go into as much detail as you can. I had to wash dishes, for which I sometimes charged or was recruited by my parents or grandparents who lived with us. Later, I was a college student living at home, and I was given lots of responsibility and helped younger siblings and my older, emotionally disturbed brother, and my father and my brother in a fishing tackle shop. I was not a saint, but I was kind of tired sometimes because with all of that stuff, I also had to study in college, and I had more fun there than anywhere else because women and other more fun things came into it. Superintendent.
All right. I am back before you now. You're before me, because you can say that both ways. You're before me, I'm before you. How could that be? The word before meaning in front of and behind. You know what? I love the English language. We're about to have a wonderful speaker before you. A poet, artist, person of life, livelihood, light, and the soul. Sage Curtis is a wonderful individual in terms of what I know about her, and I know her only through the poetry that I've heard and seen online. This is your first time here, right?
I was here in 2015.
Okay, so it's
but
not
I
your...
also played it over my
Okay, all right, so this is not the first time. I just wanted to make sure about that. I couldn't remember and I had to ask. Now I'm embarrassed now. All right, so magic from words. You think about that and you say, well, okay, fine, because we're all poets. Oh, yeah, magic of words, whatever. But if you think about what that means, someone can be on the mic and say a particular term, and if there's 30 people in the audience, there'll be several hundred different possibilities from just that one word. And when you string the words together, people are led along lines, and the lines are all different. What happens with a poet, what's going to happen here in a few moments when she gets up to speak, is that you will see how things are woven of many strands, a single set of words, but yet many strands. So there's depth and there's interest, and the way she puts things together is fascinating. Is fascinating. Masters of Fine Arts candidate, right?
I'm done now.
She's done now. Okay, because I remember that you were going into that, and yeah, and that was the plan. So she has completed a course of study. Her voice is clear, young, the future, and she's going to come before you now and give you the wow. So give her a nice round of applause. Sage Curtis, come on up here. We'll set up the microphone.
Okay, so let me make sure this is exactly the way you like it. You got to get really close.
Yeah,
Is that
I
good?
got it.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay,
I
make sure
actually used to host Word Night here when I was at USF.
Yeah.
So I want to thank Teddy because I miss being here, and I'm so happy that he still opens his doors to the arts, and it's amazing. And I hope Word Night's still going on. I don't know. And I want to thank all you guys for being here. And it's so cool that you're here every week. I think that's really awesome. word night is on Sundays. Once a month. Once a
I
month
think
on Sundays.
It was a once a month thing, but it was going on sometime. I don't know that it's happening now. But
Yeah, I'm not sure it is either. It's been a long time. I graduated a while ago, so.
And now you're in the world.
But now I'm in the world. And my first book is in the world, which I have a few copies of, and I'm gonna read a few poems. I'm gonna start with a poem from here, and then I'm gonna read a few less published ones, and then I'll read back from here, I think. So we'll go that. That's what I'm gonna do. So this one is called "The Women in My Family." But in the spirit of the holiday that we are on, I'm going to call it the witches in my family tonight. The women in my family hit the bottle hard, hit our men with closed fists and side eyes and sharp tongue hard. No romance novels and candelabras. We say, I don't believe in soulmates, and hold on to grudges and smoke pipes on a dark, dark beach. Lose cell phones in the water-hard sand. The women in my family run away to California, North Carolina, to Florida and New York. We are running high octane on high stakes, on full throttle non-stop juice. We run in little red four-doors with a cat in the passenger seat, in trailers hitched to a truck, all we own falling on the floor with every bump, in Mustang convertibles with tearing leather and empty water bottles. The women in my family tell stories about biting boys for crossing a line and leaving a man stunned with divorce on the bank of a bayou, and packing up the last box not a day too soon, and getting the fuck out of some still hometown, and putting a fist into the chest to break the heart of a man behind it. The women in my family tell these stories as myths of where we come from. We don't plan on stopping our hitting and our running and our middle finger up moments. I am saying we are hardwired to hide our feral in pink lace bras and spit, all the tame in our thick lipstick. We're not fit to be caged, housebroken, or wifed up. I'm not saying this to say sorry. The women in my family, we like being this way. Our packed suitcases, tucked away bottles of booze, and a set of car keys. We're not going to say sorry or mean it, and we're not going to stay. Cool. I'm gonna do this then. All right. And so this is a poem called October. It's a little bit of a transition, but if I read in October, I have to read this poem. I keep running away, following highway lines, following yellow. Years of October wear thick on my bones. They crack. A train sped from the station at 8 o'clock, killed a boy by 2. He's the center of the room, tombstone, his teeth on the track. I keep running towards him. His fingernails are sand by now. The train's still speeding through town, past the corner store and fence slats where I hung my vending machine necklace. He's vibrating in my skull. I'm running to his last words. That's a really old poem, but one that, like I said, I have to read it in October. This is a really new poem, like a very, very new poem, and it's called Manifesting a Mansion. Tonight, we dream this house our own, fill the plaster walls with the scent of future years. It'll be easy, I say, knock this wall down, build a staircase, you add the guardrail and mentally rip out the tile. We already hung the art on the hooks and wire, fucked against the kitchen cabinets, let the yellow paint bleed into the marrow of us. Sip on beer and run the numbers. I draw plans in a small notebook reserved for daydreamed blueprints. I water the pears. What I mean to say is, I've moved in and still want more. A permission to draw the years into the door frame, to never worry about the scratches on the hardwood because I put them there and they are mine. And then this one's after Brittany Purim, who teaches at Stanford and is a sort of mentor of mine, I guess. And it's called In the Kitchen. I am standing where you want to stand, in front of the drawer you need to open. I tell you to wait, you tell me to move. Now you say, stupid bitch, and leave the kitchen boxing ring. I know you fight with insults. You know I fight with silence. I finish dinner, you finish the dishes halfway through. We don't make up. Don't smooth it over, don't talk it out. We just eat dinner. Who cares? The president is getting what he wants these days. He's keeping humans and facts in cages. It's too much to write down a daily list of how you or someone you love might die at the hands of something rotten in this country. I don't tell you I use food long after the expiration date. This runs deep in the marrow of my family, and you call a whole cabinet in my mother's house stale. This rot runs deep, but cheese can be served moldy. I'm telling you, it's fine. Later, you ask me if I've seen the news, and I tell you it feels like rot to refresh my news feed. This dinner is rotten. This kitchen is rotting. I'm standing where you want to stand. Open my throat and leave. I'll switch up my order here. This one's called A Series of Small Apocalypses, which I stole that title from a podcast that I listened to, and that I really love, and so I gotta give credit where credit is due, and so yeah, stole that title. Wake up to a crack of sun on Sunday, wrist stamped twice and smeared in the shower. No matter how hard you scrub, you're stained. Watch your pretty friend try on wedding dresses while everyone oohs and ahs and wonder what cut of girl you are. The things you love are laced up, sharp, and sometimes yellow. Not interested in finding happy or forever after, just slicing open the chest cavity. Watch a heartbeat, a chest rise and fall. You think only of the day, of the second that ends. You have time to watch it play out, cinematic. Forget, or did you ever know, to be a girl meant sit pretty and ooh and ah, not a firework exploding in an open field, a whole park on fire. You loved once, you did, threw your heels over your head, swooned to the tune of the lead violinist in Ocean Avenue, the blast of it through Best Buy speakers in the trunk of his Honda. Did it ever really leave you? Watch this. You're spinning to a series of small apocalypses to mean I love you, and they believe it. Cheer for a shower curtain call. This one's called Jacked. And if you were, I got it from a prompt, and if you were looking at it on the page, every letter starts with the next letter of the alphabet. So I start with A, B is the next line, C is the line after that. It's a really fun exercise. I didn't think I could do it. And then I love the poem, so I recommend this prompt. Okay, so it's called Jacked. A small tear appears in my jeans where my thighs rub together, but I still slip them on, button up, 'cause once you slid your hands over them, dug your thumb into the small of my back, every touch is woven into their threads, every finger lingers, god damn. How have you been? I want to ask, but instead I stare at a picture on Instagram, jam my fist into my mouth to keep myself from typing out, I might have loved you once, but now I just remember it. Maybe you'd say back, oh, don't kid yourself. No love looks like running a hand over your ass for 2 minutes. Probably you're right, but haven't you questioned what it would have been like replanting the redwood evening over and over and is my specialty. I've run it so many times that now the smoke and fog are clogging my pores. Unreal as it is, I still know what it's like to press my hands to your chest. Volcanic as it is, I still dream you willing and me unhinged. Every Xerox frame is a little different. Yoked into this story is the zipper and how you never got around to unzipping it.
I missed that.
The Z's, the Y and the Z were hard, but also obvious when you hear them, if you know the prompt. Okay, so these two, I feel like sometimes need a little backstory, so I'm going to give you the backstory on them. My grandma, my mom and my grandma lived and grew up in Georgia, and my mom moved out here to go to grad school, and one day my grandma and grandpa decided that they were going to come out here and visit, and they drove the RV across country to come visit my mom, and my grandpa left my grandma and the RV in California. And that was it. And so I grew up around my grandma and my mom, and not really knowing my grandpa until he was severely sick. So, you know, I, as I'm writing towards this story, my poor grandpa's a little bit of a villain sometimes. I think he might be in these two poems. There are other ones that are nicer, I think, but these two. So this one's called RV with no title. And the backstory of the title is that RV stayed in my family. It was like a storage unit. I grew up like knowing that that RV was like sort of a symbol of my grandma being left after a lifelong love. So, yeah, RV with no title. The old RV is rotting in a lot in a town that's mostly empty of us now. Its metal wheels rusting into the dry valley dirt. Its 30 years of storage, its cabinets packed with forgotten boxes. Somewhere, the tea towels we could never find, swan figurines gathering dust. After you died, I traced your name into the dirt countertops, imagined you packing your life into the latched cupboards and meeting the open road he left you for. Now, we've covered your memories with ours, as generations often do, but little bits find their way from the corners. A jeweled carousel pin, now pinned on my hoodie, on a flight from Gainesville to San Francisco. A trip I took to meet a little more of you, of your daughter, a little more of me. It's a journey worn into my bones and blood. The last time I saw the RV, I planned to empty it. The sliding slit my dust-covered palm, mixing our veined history into the rusting soil. Isn't it amazing how much the earth can drink in and still birth wild things? I picked up a dandelion next to its newest stain, lit it with my sister's disposable lighter, and used it to set the whole thing aflame. The last bit is a lie. It got like towed away to a junkyard or something. But you know, the image is cool. And this one's called Root Flare, A History. 1. 1933. In Georgia sun, peach groves precede peach fuzz. My grandmother, just a girl, took a boy's hand. A second grade love so juiced it lasted 66 years. Pours out 2 children they can't afford. In this family, forever means from before we can even remember. Maybe it's in our blood, maybe it's the road, open like the eye of a storm, our nerves, the knowing of not taking it. The women in this family know all too well what happens when you let go of cookie sticky fingers. 2. 1953. Maybe it's just that leaving was his love language and being a launch pad was hers. A girl born to childhood sweethearts doesn't develop a sweet tooth until both her parents are long gone. She looks for forever in the habitual loosening of her bolts, the greasing of her throat. When the road called for her, she brought the whole damn state west with her, only leaving God behind. Her skin tells the story of 2 sunshine states, 2 husbands, 2 daughters alive and 2 dead. She keeps having chunks of herself cut out. Part 3, 2019. I never call the man I love my childhood sweetheart. Never tell him I use food long after the expiration date. I dig my roots so deep that the eye of the storm only tickles my teeth. In a little yellow house, I grow a garden full of things that can't die, because forever means I can remember. And before I can remember, my body learned the habitual loving means the road is always there. I keep cutting chunks of this story out. I am lucky to be alive. A lot of time. 20 minutes is so long. I can never read for 20 minutes. I'm gonna read. It takes so much time. I'm gonna read. I could read this whole book in 20 minutes, I think. Okay.
Well, that's a good one.
Yeah. You can definitely read this whole book in 20 minutes. I'll read this one. This is another old one, but I like. Instructions for Girls in Glitter Dresses, and it's after Makeshift Instructions for Vigilante Girls by Erica Meitner, which is a great poem and a great book. Be the loudest one in the room, flash your teeth, watch out for the ones who try to buy you pink lemonade and champagne, try to call you sugar, show you Pollocks hanging in their apartments. When there are songs to dance to, dance alone. She got a lot of pretty, pretty boys she calls friends. Wear the knife in the band of your bra, they will feel it. Flirt for the women at home doing dishes, but be careful, do not become one. Not if someone offers you a key, the empty drawer of a dresser, or a fish hook for your left ring finger. Try not to put your fingerprints on anything. Bring steel wool in combat boots. Leave just before breakfast is served. Wear your dress like silicone. Be shocked when the men are shocked by the words you spit. Be remembered but not chased after. Later, read his text messages. What are you doing? And don't blink, big eyes. Get pushed up in a sequin corset and be ready to chase the night moths.
Romantic, that's romantic.
I always joke that I should have listened to the girl who wrote that poem. It's a joke. I'm getting married next year. It's very sweet. Okay, I'll read this one. A Girl and Her Knife. Like swimming in a pool during a lightning storm, the humidity cracking overhead, I feel it, still rolling the salt of it over my tongue. Dare me to use the knife, to pull it from the thin sleeve tucked into the band of my bra. Don't you know it yet? This is for my safety, not yours. If I was a bird, I'd be red and yellow and orange. If I was a flower, I'd be bird of paradise, all spiked and open mouth. This is to say, dare me to open up and show you the explosions of neon coating muscles I don't even feel anymore. But don't dare me to poison you. Willpower is not my strong suit. I like the sound of the blade sliding against the leather too much, the risk of electricity pulsing through the water. So go ahead and call me baby, and I'll tell you about baby rattlesnakes and how they bite, full of uncontrollable venom. Okay, I'll do 2 more, because I think that that's all that I have. Otherwise, I'll read you the whole book. I'll read this one. This one's called Cinderella. Cinderella. This ball, glitter dust trails. It didn't start here. In every Cinderella, there's hiding rags and cigarette burns and a band of ashes. They all deserve 2 birds squatting on their collarbones, singing sound advice, but sometimes they get left to wipe up empty restaurant tables. They're trying to escape by putting on a dress, some heels, find a man who won't let go of their hand, who's fooled by a few hours of fancy, show up solo and ready to disappear when things might just start looking up, get drunk, lose a shoe, run to the bass line of a bird song. How many toes will they sacrifice before they decide to settle down or give themselves up or hide high in a tree? Before they were broken, they broke things themselves. One left a slipper sitting on the stoop steps. It wasn't meant to be a clue or the key to anything to save herself. It was just a shoe, another lost, broken thing. Thank you guys again for having me. This will be my last one. And it's a fitting one, last one, because it's called eschatology, which means the study of last things. So yeah, get ready for that refrain. It's gonna be a fun one. Eschatology. The last song on the radio was our last dance, quickly on the fire escape while the city smoked under us. Last minute plans to get the fuck out, your suitcase packed with the last photograph of last summer. It was the last straw, when the last kiss I gave away wasn't to you, and that was my last chance. We're both hell-bent on having the last word. I'm shouting with my last breath. The quiet of last call hangs heavy on the last hour before dawn. I ask one last question. How do you know when it's over?
Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you? I told you. So we're good. Give her another round of applause. And she has books over there, so see her back there. We've been filling out the sign thing as people have come in, so if you haven't signed in, then sign in. So. Anyway, we're going to take a break for 5 minutes, and then we'll be back. And I want to thank the people in the first half. Almost everybody really kept it under the 4, so that was really great. Now we have time for more people in the second half, second show. So, and away we go.
Okay, so the way you shut it down, pause it. Okay, so touch the lights here.
All right.